So we're going to be riding all of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think it's going to be about 1200 to 1300 odd kilometers of riding. And I must say it's getting quite nippy here. My fingers are beginning to turn a bit numb.
Sridhar will do a ride briefing.
After one vada.
After he's done with his vada.
Half vada.
ADV guys don't do briefing at all.
First show in the group, Kripal used to have like, you know, this signal, that signal, hand, leg.
No.
So when I joined with my tribe, right? I was like, what is going on?
ನಾಟಿ ಕೋಳಿ ಮಸಾಲ ತಲೆ ನಾಟಿ ಕೋಳಿ ಮಸಾಲ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ನಾಟಿ ಕೋಳಿ ಮಸಾಲ ದೋಸೆ ಇದೆ
What's up?
We are about to send a message. Join us at Vaishali.
I would have joined you. How are you doing? Good to see you, man.
Last we met was Humpy ride.
Humpy ride. Remember while coming back I went over that speed breaker?
Yeah.
Oh my god. While coming somewhere, I don't remember, there was a speed breaker I didn't see. I hit it and I just went flying, and thankfully I was able to control it. Vic was there behind watching.
Wicketon's Ducati nightclub. Is that how it fires? Yeah.
Good morning folks, the time is 6:24 and we've just set out on our long awaited, long anticipated motorcycle trip. We're going to be riding for 4 days and there are 7 of us riding. I'm so happy that 7 of us could get together and do this. It's been a while and I don't think we've ever done a 4-day trip. Perhaps we did one to Goa years ago, but so happy to be back on the motorcycle. A beautiful dawn that's breaking around us. I think it'll be sunrise in a few minutes. It was dark when all of us began from home, and now we're beginning to see the light of day. I think the temperature is about 17-18 degrees, but when you're on the motorcycle and especially on the highway, it's about 2 or 3 degrees colder than it is. There's Joe on his GS. Let's see if we can get a head count of everybody who's going. There's Davidson on his GSA. Up front I have Griffithon. There's Griffithon on Joe's Fat Boy. Joe of course is on his GS. And leading the group today is Vic on his Ducati multistrada enduro, riding tall. So it's been a while since we've ridden in a group formation because we haven't been doing these long rides. When I say group formation, I'm talking about specific positions on the ride. So Vic is going to be leading us, and I'm going to be more or less somewhere towards the end, and Sridhar is going to sweep on his Tiger. I'll tell you about where we are headed once we just get past this little spot of slow moving log jam on the road. And behind me, that's Sridhar on the Tiger, and Ganesh who's joining us. He's on his Ducati as well. So Ganesh is riding with us. He's joining us from Chennai. So his ride already began yesterday when he rode from Chennai to meet us here. It's been years since we've ridden with him. So we've just taken the left turn at Nelamangala, headed towards Hassan, and the destination for today is about 375 kilometers away. So it's roughly about 6 to 7 hours of ride time. Is the road wet or is that just tar? Let me catch up with the boys before I continue this conversation. On a long ride you don't want to get left too far behind, so you try and ensure that people are at least within let's say 200-300 meter, maybe half a kilometer sometimes. On wider stretches, open highways like this, but let's say if it's a smaller sort of a road that we are passing through, then we try and stay close. So as we come into the city, come into the towns, you come closer and then ride. But as you're on the open highway, you separate the riders with a decent amount of distance. So everybody within the group has their own riding space, is not crowded, and yet you aren't too far away. And if you need some assistance or you need to communicate something, you are able to do so. You can see all the riders in a line there. Vic, Griff, Davidson, Joe, Sridhar, Ganesh, and me bringing up the rear. Beautiful color. So the plan today is to ride to a place called Thirthahalli, which is about 375 kilometers from home. So it's roughly about a 6.5 hour, 7 hour sort of a ride. And Thirthahalli is in Shimoga, in the Western Ghats. So the route that we take is Bengaluru, Nelamangala to Hassan, and then we turn towards Belur and find our way to Thirthahalli. So we're going to be riding on the highway till about Hassan like this, and then once you get off the national highway, then we take the state highways inside. So it's going to be an interesting sort of a ride because you've got open roads and you'll also have the twisties, I suppose, as we approach Tirthahalli. And so we're riding about 375 kilometers today, and tomorrow from Tirthahalli we go towards Gokarna, past Kundapur, and that's where we are staying tomorrow night. And the third day we ride back from Gokarna to Tirthahalli and stay at the same location that we are spending tonight. And on Sunday we ride back home. So today is a Thursday, so we're going to be riding all of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And all in all, I think we should probably be doing about 375, that's 750 kilometers on day 1 and day 4, and about 500 kilometers put together on day 2, day 3. So I think it's going to be about 1200 to 1300 odd kilometers of riding. We haven't done a ride in a long time, a long ride, and so we thought we'd do an overnighter. But then when we sat down to plan this, we said, you know, we've not ridden for so long, why don't we just take off for about 3 nights, which gives us about 4 days of riding. You must have caught the vlog when we were planning this at Woody's. If you haven't caught it yet, I'm going to place a link in the description below. And we planned, and usually somebody drops out, and so you may start with about 7-8 people, but then you probably end up with about 4 or 5 people. But the good thing is that everybody who was there at that breakfast is on the ride. So 7 riders all in all. It's going to be a wonderful next 4 days. I can see the sun making a presence in the morning sky behind. Challenge with the luggage on the Harleys, unlike the ADVs, is that you've got to bungee tie things, and sometimes things tend to shift and move when you are riding. So it's a Harley Davidson bag. I think it's about 20 liters, perhaps 15-20 liters, and then you got to secure it with all these. I think I need to get a little more tension into this. I think when I stop for breakfast, I'm going to secure the bag better. For now, let's enjoy the ride. Biggest advantages when you begin early in the morning is that there's hardly any traffic on the road, especially once you've cleared the city. And also as you're clearing the city, the traffic is much lesser, much lighter. So you exit the city earlier, and then even on the highway there's not much happening around you. So you're really able to not just enjoy the pace but also enjoy the ride. Take in the fresh morning air, and I must say it's getting quite nippy here. My fingers are beginning to turn a bit numb, but I think we should be fine because we will reach our next stop, have some breakfast, do some chit chat. Oh, the sun is blazing now. Wow, just what you need that sun to warm you. I've got a couple of layers inside, but I'm still feeling cold. I've got my chest guard, my back guard, my jacket, but you can feel that wind chill. It's been a while since we've stepped out this early in the morning. It's just 7 now and we are already about 85 kilometers from Bengaluru. I can feel the cold in my bones.
So guys, we're at Vaishali Yediyur. Meet the group. That's Ganesh who's joining us from Chennai. Griffetta is already with his vada dip. Vic, Das is up.
They all know Joe and Sridhar.
Joe.
Right? Nothing else. Looking forward to the 4-day ride. It's a long time since 7 of us got together and looking forward to it.
Sridhar is looking forward to a lot of things these days.
He's the only guy who is interested in riding.
I could see that tone in Sridhar's message. 5:45 reporting, 6 a.m. ride out.
No questions
I said,
asked.
boss, let's not get into this conversation.
He was the first person to reach there, huh?
Yeah.
He was dot 5:44. He was there.
They say as you get older, you sleep less. Sridhar will do a ride
Ride
briefing.
briefing. After one vada.
After he's done with his vada.
Half vada.
Okay.
We'll do who's the
Assign the
marshals, sweep.
ADV guys don't do briefing and all that. Harley guys don't do briefing.
First show in the group, Kripal used to have like, you know, this signal, that signal, hand, leg.
No. Be edited.
So when I joined with my tribe, right? I was like, what is going on? So I'm
He was
in the
not
back.
used to order.
So the guy in front is showing his hand, another guy showing his leg.
no.
What? There's like one small bump. I'm on my tiger, right? I'm like, what's happening?
The message. Reporting time 5:45. Sharp 5:45. 5:50 briefing. 6 o'clock clutch out.
Once the ADV came in,
Keema dosa undu nanage.
Bari plain soup body. Would have that. Very good, very warming.
Let's try.
1/2 Madi. Anybody having?
1 by 2. 1 by 2.
Okay, 2/4 Madi. Any kal soup?
I'm okay.
Call soup one for me.
Griff, it's very good. It's very
Okay,
warming.
well, then
Okay, 3 by
5.
3 by 6.
3 by 6.
ನಾಟಿ ಕೋಳಿ ಮಸಾಲ ತಾಳಿ ನಾಟಿ ಕೋಳಿ ಮಸಾಲ ಮತ್ತು ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ನಾಟಿ ಕೋಳಿ ಮಸಾಲ ದೋಸೆ ಇದೆ ಬೋಟಿ ಗೊಜ್ಜು ಕೀಮಾ ಗೊಜ್ಜು ಕೀಮಾ ದೋಸೆ
2 ಕೊಡಿ.
Everything one.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಟನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ?
ಮಟನ್ ಕುರ್ಮಾ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಲೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಇವಾಗ ಬೋಟಿ ಗೊಜ್ಜು ಮತ್ತು ಕೀಮಾ ಗೊಜ್ಜು ಇದೆ ರೆಡಿ ಇದೆ ನಾಟಿ ಕೋಳಿ ಮಸಾಲ ಚಿಕನ್
ಕೀಮಾ ಗೊಜ್ಜು ಕೊಡಿ.
ಕೀಮಾ ಗೊಜ್ಜು
ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡಿ. ಕೀಮಾ ದೋಸೆ.
Morning, I think
What is this?
45.
Ghee
Plain
roast.
ghee roast.
Oh, that's loaded with a keema. Huh?
Can I try?
Do it there.
Good.
You can also
Wow.
taste the fattiness of the meat.
Awesome.
Let me order one more.
Not with the
One more we've ordered anyway.
as long as you're in the fat boy.
Excellent keema dosa. Excellent keema dosa.
Yeah.
This kal soup is also very good. Huh? Excellent. Excellent
Like,
kal
want to
soup.
start eating non-veg? No.
No. I've tried actually. So
Okay.
Matter of time. Awesome, buddy.
Very nice.
I think especially after your fingers are numb to the bone, man. At some point when we were riding, I couldn't feel my. So it was the effort to, suddenly came to the speed brake and the clutch. It's like a little effort.
That's where those grip warmers come in handy.
You need the?
Grip warmer. Grip warmers on the heated grip warmers.
Heated grips.
The ADVs have that.
Bye, baby. I'll speak to you
Yeah.
later.
What's that? Grips is like, what is that?
What's that?
Excellent. Yeah. The soup is
very
very good.
Warming me up.
In fact, last time even we enjoyed the soup, no? We enjoyed the soup and the dosa.
He's a geek in the group. He's a geeky in the group.
Yeah, he's like the accessory.
You're not eating, huh?
Yeah,
Yes, it's a spot.
So have it. Nice.
hit the spot.
You remember Kripal?
dosa is very nice, huh?
Very soft set dosa.
I'm tasting it.
And it's of some red rice, is it?
They use something called a Rajamudi rice as well, which grows in Assam.
Very soft. No, I'm good. I'm full.
No, one piece.
One more set dosa.
The idli is okay.
The dosa was nice.
Yeah, I think.
It's not an idli place. Huh?
Yeah,
We're going one vegetarian place.
I think it's more for the keema dosa, the set dosa. That's what you should have here.
Prefer the set dosa with.
The set dosa is spongy, right? So it soaks up all the masala rather well. You said you can eat at 7. You were the one who said that.
I never said.
Joe, you don't want your.
Kripal, 7 o'clock breakfast?
Joe, you
I'm like,
don't want
we'll
your
see.
puri.
In fact, he was saying, who gave this idea of eating breakfast at 7?
Yeah. Now, keema dosa, set dosa,
No, three
idli.
keema dosa.
Finally top up with kesari baat, huh?
Oh, they have kesari baat?
I'm sure that. Rajamudi rice. It's a rice that comes from Hassan. So a lot of them, what they do is they put a little bit of the sugar, so it gives a slightly brown sort of a tinge. So the brown that you get from the rice is what you see inside, but on the outside you get that caramel sort of a.
We see all other videos, but yours is like we go particularly after that. That is the thing. We went to that Gobi.
Which one? Raja or Ravi?
Ravi.
You
So,
seen me?
My wife, no.
Just finished a breakfast stop here at Hotel Vaishali. Great keema dosa. And today we also discovered a very nice set dosa here, made with the Rajamudi rice. And the kal soup was the sort that hit the spot, because even as we were riding here, our fingers were numb. We were feeling cold to the bone. And that kal soup that we had right at the start of breakfast was so warming. Great flavors, the pepper, fresh coriander, and also the meaty flavors of the trotters, and a very good keema goju too. And that set dosa was a great sponge to scoop up the keema goju. So anyway, so breakfast stop done, and we've got 239 kilometers before we hit Tirthahalli. That's about 4 hours 56 minutes, 5 hours roughly. We will stop for gas on the way and maybe another stop or so. So it says 1:27 p.m. is the time that we will reach, but I think we'll probably be there closer to 2 o'clock or so. So good start to the ride. 105 kilometers done, 239 to go. There's some road work happening on the other side, I suppose. Therefore, only a single lane. I gotta be a little more careful on speed breakers with the bag at the back, because as it is, the fat boy has a very low ground clearance, only about 120 mm, and when you mount the luggage etc, I think it comes down by a bit. So you got to look out for the speed breakers. NH 75. Let's ride. The speed breakers seem to be getting higher. You gotta be very careful. You gotta literally walk the motorcycle over the speed breaker. Whereas my buddies on the ADVs, for them it's a minor bump on the road. I think that's the whole difference between a Harley. I mean, I'm not talking about the Pan America. By the way, I hope you saw that vlog where I did my first deco of the Pan America. Looking forward to ride it some point. So typical Harleys, you gotta literally be very gentle with the speed breakers, but on an adventure tourer, well, you can just cruise over that speed breaker. And that's one of the reasons why I'm contemplating to pick up a second motorcycle, an adventure tourer. Of course I have the Himalayan, but you know, something a little bigger engine wise. Let's see how that goes. Been thinking about it for a long time now. And here's another speed breaker, as if on cue. So I want to keep my Fat Boy. It's an iconic motorcycle, so I'll always have the Fat Boy, I think. But perhaps get a second, not a second, actually a third motorcycle, an adventure tourer. I don't know, let's see. Beautiful morning to be out riding. Beautiful morning, great weather. So this vlog will be more about the ride and what happens along the way, including some food. So the food will be there, but it will be a part of the ride, because I want you to get a flavor of what these long motorcycle rides are about. Hassan is 60 kilometers away. Is it me or the number of speed breakers, I think, on these highways have just increased? I'm sure Sridhar finds it very liberating now that he's on his Tiger as opposed to the Fat Bob that he used to ride earlier. So you gotta literally walk the motorcycle, and you still need some momentum, because otherwise you may get stuck on the top of the speed breaker. The height of the speed breakers and also the gradient is not always the most scientific. So as opposed to a gradual incline, these are relatively much sharp. This is a tiny one. Ladies on their phones, you gotta be careful. That bus is taking the easy way out. Decides to come on the wrong side because he's got a turn somewhere behind there, and I guess he wants to conserve fuel. I think we are at Chandrai Patna, if I'm not mistaken. Hassan is 40 kilometers away. I think these days, wherever any place you go, there's always a lot of road work happening, a lot of focus on infrastructure. So I guess once it's ready, it'll be fantastic. So I guess till then you have to live with the pain, the inconvenience a bit. But once all this is done, it'll be super. I think in anything, right, when you make progress, when you want to go for something better, when you're making that change, when you're making that transition, it's always a little difficult. But you got to be patient through it, because this takes time. Imagine the number of houses, buildings that had to be cleared. You can still see remnants. You see houses half demolished to make way for the highway. So it's a long process in a democratic country like India. So it takes time. And much as we like to blame everybody, I think there are certain things that genuinely take time. Anyways, so be patient when you're transitioning. Think of what's going to happen later. Keep your eye on the prize. What you will enjoy later, and I guess that makes that transition a little easier to bear. You know, although I have had an early morning start, I have this morning routine of prayer, meditation, so I spend some time doing that. So I need a couple of hours in the morning to prepare myself for the day ahead. Today, because we were riding out, we wanted to get out early, 5:45 and 6 a.m. And so I had to leave home at 5:10 a.m. So which meant I was up at 3:10 a.m. in the morning. And it's 9:20 now. But just that the riding has been so effortless, the weather has been so good. One is not feeling tired in the least.
I haven't seen the light
Yeah.
for a long time.
Look out for the lights of the people behind you, and if you don't see them for a while, you stop.